The smell hits you first. Leather, newness, and something faintly chemical underneath it. Something that smells almost like ambition. You are 25, sitting inside a 2024 Camaro SS, mosaic black metallic, while the salesman walks back with a folder that says $947 a month. 60 months, 7% APR on a $48,000 car. He says the number like weather, like gravity, like something already decided. And you believe him, because for the first time in your life, you have money with commas in it. Not rich money, not freedom money, but enough to make you feel like the small version of you is finally being replaced. You are not buying a car, you are buying proof. The car is not the beginning of the story. The hunger is. Before the car, there is the hunger. You know that hunger, the quiet kind. The kind that comes from years of watching every dollar twice before spending it once. Years of walking past things you wanted and training your face not to react. Years of telling yourself you were practical when part of you was just tired. Of wanting things you could not have. So when real money finally enters your life, it does not feel like income, it feels like oxygen. You are not trying to be reckless, you are trying to become visible. And that is what makes the mistake so easy to respect. Level 1, the purchase. You are 25. The seat wraps around you like it was built for the person you are trying to become. The steering wheel is cool under your hands. Outside the window, the dealership lot glitters in the afternoon sun. All chrome and optimism. The salesman has stepped away to run the numbers, which both of you understand means the deal is already done. You just have not signed yet. When he comes back, the folder is clean. The number is not $947 a month, 60 months, 7% APR. A $48,000 car turned into a future you have already promised away. But you do not hear it that way. You hear reward. You hear finally. You hear every version of yourself that had to wait, had to say no, had to pretend not wanting things was maturity, so you signed. For the first 15 minutes on the highway, windows down, sound system hitting your chest like a second heartbeat, it works. You feel like somebody. And for 1 week, the proof works better than you expected. Level 2, the show. Within a week, everyone knows. You do not announce the car. The car announces itself. You pull into Marcus's driveway on a Saturday afternoon, and the yard changes temperature. 3 people walk outside. Your cousin circles it twice without speaking. Your mother, who has never cared about cars, asks you to drive her to church, and she sits in the passenger seat, slightly more upright than usual. At work, a coworker who barely acknowledged you starts stopping by your desk. A woman you have been trying to impress for 2 years suddenly wants to go for a drive. Then your father stands in the driveway one evening, puts his hand flat on the hood, and says, "Nice machine, son." That sentence lands deeper than the engine ever could. You mistake all of this for respect, but it is admiration. And admiration is a fast currency. It arrives bright, it spends quickly. It does not compound. Respect is quieter. It builds in accounts nobody sees, in decisions made at midnight without an audience. But you do not know that yet. Admiration arrives fast. The bill arrives every month. Level 3, the crack. Month 4, the payment comes out on the 12th. You set up auto pay because watching $947 leave your account manually every month felt too much. Like participating in your own punishment. So now it just disappears quietly. No drama, no sound, just less room. But $947 is not what the car costs. There is insurance, $310 a month, because a performance vehicle with a 25-year-old male driver is not a person to the industry. It is a risk profile. There is fuel, $190 a month, because a 6.2-liter V8 does not care what your budget says. There is maintenance. $80 a month if you average it out, then the first repair comes early. A sensor, something small, $340. You add it up. $1,527 a month. Over $18,000 a year. The payment was the headline. The rest was fine print nobody read to you out loud. So you adjust. You stop eating out. You push back a trip. You tell yourself it is temporary. This is how financial tightening works. Not as collapse, as small contractions. The world gets narrower. One reasonable sacrifice at a time. Then somebody your age buys the thing you said you wanted later. Level 4, the math. You are 27 when Devin puts a down payment on a house. Devin drives a 6-year-old Civic with a crack in the dashboard. Same company, same age, makes within $9,000 of what you make. You have worked beside him for 3 years and never once thought of him as ahead of you, then he has a yard. That night, you sit alone with your phone calculator and a feeling in your chest you do not want to name. Devin was putting away $1,200 a month. Automatic. Invisible. An index fund nobody admired at parties. No chrome. No engine note. No driveway moment. Just a number growing in the dark. Your $48,000 Camaro has already lost roughly 20% of its value in the first year. That is $9,600 gone while it sat in parking lots looking beautiful. Cars can lose up to 60% of their value over 5 years. That means the thing you finance for $48,000 may eventually be worth around $19,000. The loan does not care. Then you run the uglier number. If $12,000 a year had gone into an S&P 500 index fund, at a historical average return of 10% annually, you could be looking at roughly $73,000 by 30. $73,000 is not a fantasy. It is a down payment. You do not sell the car that night. You just start hearing the math under the engine. Level 5, the garage, reckoning. Month 31. It is 11:52 p.m. on a Tuesday. And you are sitting in the parking garage with the engine off. You got passed over for a promotion today. Not fired, not humiliated, just redirected with reasonable feedback from people who sounded calm. Because none of the consequences belong to them. That is not why you are still in the car. You are there because tonight, for the first time in 7 months, you opened every account at once. In 31 months, you have paid $29,357 toward the car. It is worth about $27,400 on the open market. You still owe $27,000 on the loan. So the thing you bought to feel like somebody has left you nearly $30,000 behind. You read that 14% of American car buyers in 2024 had monthly payments over $1,000. You are not there. You are close enough to understand the room. Auto loan delinquency had hit its highest point since 2010. The average first-time homebuyer age was reported at 38. It used to be 33. 5 years moved somewhere. Into payments, into insurance, into the performance of arriving before the arrival was real. The car is silent around you. It has not changed. You have. The next decision is not dramatic. It is quieter than that. Level 6, the letting go. You sell it on a Wednesday. No ceremony, no final sunset drive, no dramatic goodbye on an empty highway. You post the listing on Thursday evening. 3 serious inquiries come over the weekend. By Wednesday afternoon, a man named Robert arrives with a cashier's check in a plain white envelope. Methodical, pleasant, careful. He drives the Camaro around the corner and out of your life while you stand in the parking lot, watching the taillights disappear. You feel grief, but not exactly for the car. You grieve the 25-year-old who bought it, the one sitting in that driver's seat, windows down, sound system pressing into his chest, believing the story was finally going somewhere. After the loan is settled, after the final accounting, You walk away with $4,200. $4,200. That is the material yield of years of payments, insurance, fuel, repairs, and quiet pressure. You put it into an index fund. You do not tell anyone. 2 weeks later, you are driving a used Honda Accord. $280 a month, 54,000 miles, a small scratch above the rear wheel well. Nobody circles it. Nobody asks for a ride. And somehow, you feel lighter. The silence in the Honda teaches you what the Camaro never could. Level 7, the real cost. You are 30, standing in Devon's yard with a beer in your hand. There is a grill smoking near the patio, cheap folding chairs. A small patch of grass, people laughing like this is ordinary. Because for Devon, somehow, it has become ordinary. You feel proud of him. Then you feel something sharper for yourself. By now, you understand what the Camaro actually cost you, not just $48,000. Not just the $73,000 in foregone returns. Those numbers matter, but they are not the whole wound. The car cost you time. 5 years of financial adolescence. 5 years where your money was busy performing instead of building. 5 years where the future version of you had fewer options because the present version needed applause. That is the cruel part of ego-driven decisions. They do not feel like ego when you make them. They feel like reward. Like self-respect, like I worked for this. I came from less. I deserve something beautiful. And that desire is not shameful. But there is a difference between buying something that reflects who you are and buying something to announce who you want to be perceived as. One costs money, the other costs years. And that is why 5 years later, you keep returning to the dealership. You return to that dealership in your mind. The afternoon sun is still on the chrome. The steering wheel is still cool under your hands. The salesman is still walking back with the folder. And there you are at 25, sitting in the driver's seat, believing the thing you are buying is dignity. You do not want to shame him. You know exactly what he is looking for. Legitimacy, proof, the right to take up space after years of feeling small. So you imagine climbing into the passenger seat before he signs and telling him the truth gently. The thing you are looking for is real. You are just looking for it in the wrong place. Maybe for you it was not a Camaro. Maybe it was a luxury SUV. A vacation, a remodel, a watch, a house bought too early, some payment that made the future smaller so the present could look bigger. The car told people where you wanted to go. The account told the truth about whether you would get there. You did not need a better car. You needed a better question.